Well, good morning. Praise God for another beautiful day, huh? All right, this is the day the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. I hope you all had a good weekend. So we are resuming with our little scene. We've got a few more cells to paint here. A few more cells. The terminology cells is a little bit archaic, I guess now, being that everything is done digitally. When I said cells, that's the old version of myself coming out. That's sweet. Anyways, so I'm doing cleanup and color on the last part of this scene. For those of you who are new to my channel, I am Leonard Robinson. Pleased to meet you. And what I'm doing on this video series is I am working on an animated short of my own desire, and I am showing you step by step how I'm doing it, scene by scene, in between by in between, paint style by paint style. So I'm doing that because some of you may be making your own film, and perhaps you'd like to see someone working on something in real time. I like doing it this way. I think it's a lot more explanatory. It gives you a better sense of what you do, how you can do it from the very beginning of the scene. In these videos, I don't only just show you about animation, I show you how I even arrive at the scene and how it gets to be what you're seeing on the screen here. Because all of those steps are very important, I think, in the process of learning. And once again, my particular way of working is just one of many ways that it could be done. Every single animator and artist has his own method or style or working, and it's not to say that any one is better than another. You find what works for you, and you do that. So that's pretty much it. So if this is helpful to you, then I have succeeded at what I've set out to do. All right, then. So here we are. So what I had done now, this is a rough animator, is this program that I'm using. And what I've done here is I have a layer that is just rough drawings, which look like this. Above that layer, if you can see up here, you see my timeline. Um, I have on the timeline here, I have another layer that's marked color. You might be able to see it on your screen, perhaps, but it's the very top layer, and that would be this layer here with the highlight. And so what I'm doing is I'm cleaning up the drawings on that particular layer and painting them on that layer. So that's how I'm doing what I'm doing. There you go. So that's the process, and so that's what you'll be seeing me do. So, all right. So right now so I'm gonna do Miguel. Miguel is the kid that's on the left of the screen, and I'm just gonna bring this back up to a large size where I'll be able to better see the character. I have the paint, my paintbrush set on a solid color here. That's the black dot you see, and then I'm going to hit black color because that's the color of the line that I want. Miguel is primarily, he's completely drawn on a black line in the finished color version of him. So I'm cleaning this up on the layer above the rough using a black line. Rough Animator has a feature called draws in front or draws behind, and that can be very helpful if you're putting a line or a color or something underneath another line or color, and so that can be very, very helpful, and I use it quite a bit. So all I do really is I just trace directly over the line. In the world of the old days of doing animation and cleanup and everything, like when I was working at Disney, um, the cleanup process was different because everything back in those days was Xeroxed. It would either be Xeroxed or inked, meaning that the drawings might be traced, they would be cleaned up on another sheet of paper, and then they would be Xeroxed or inked onto a clear sheet of acetate. And that's what we called the cells back in the day. So what that kind of meant was that the cleanup drawing a lot of times had to be also it was another layer of expertise. So they had an entire department of which I was a part of where you would do a very clean, controlled, on model drawing of the character in a clean line, which then would be what you'd use to, for the inker would use to ink to, or they would get the Xerox to paint that line. Let's see here. If you want, I'm flipping back to get the line that's going to go around the box. So I hit this little thing here. This shows you different types of lines. So this is a line that can be a straight line, a line tool. And I'm going to set this so that it's in the front. So it goes on top. There we go. There. I'm going to switch it to being behind because it's going to come right down to this thumb here. I needed to go behind the thumb. Okay. Same thing here. This has got to be behind. Okay. I think I can just do all of these behind because, yeah. Okay. All right, so we got that. Okay, so since I got I got Miguel's side done here, so I'm going to use the paint bucket here to paint. So I paint his hair black. His skin is this color. Let's see. Now the paint, so the paint's going to be. Let's see. So what am I doing here? Oh. Let's back to the wavy line. Draws behind. Okay. Yeah, because you're going to have little spaces where the color doesn't quite fit through. All right, let's see. The shirt is purple. That's that color, which is actually the same as the box. Let's see. I believe this is the lip color. Let's check that. Right. And then you've got the white area inside the mouth. Okay. All right, now we'll come over and bring Jason into the picture here. And Jason's got the light ochre line here. So we want to, yeah. So we want to have that work behind. Yeah, there we go. There we go. So it'll be behind where the thumb connects here. I think, right? And then we'll put it on top for everything else. So it'll be on top here. Let's see. Up to where the hand goes. Oh, I see. Yeah, right. There we go. Also, in the old days, you had to get everything so accurate. We were so concerned about being on model and everything, and which is important. Don't get me wrong; it is important to be on model, keep a consistency. But sometimes I don't know, I had my own personal take on it. I would say that there were times I think we were maybe a bit anal with that, to the point that maybe we could have gotten more production had we not put so much emphasis on how how accurate our cleanup drawings had to be. But that's just my own personal take on it. I mean, there's a discipline that I think we all got with doing animation and cleanup and everything that, you know, this is definitely beneficial. So I'm not knocking the process. It was definitely a good, what's the word? It was a good thing. It was a good disciplinary, whatever you want to call it. It helped us be better artists. Yeah. All of that good stuff. Okay, let's see. So now on the shirt, and it's got a red line, so we're going to put that on the top here. And remember, I've got him so that both boys are actually working on top of the, let's see here. They're working on the top of the, let's see, of the scene. Yeah, on the top of the block. That's what I'm trying to say. There we go. All right, so we got that. So, okay, so then we're going to put the colors in here. So we'll go to this. Skin color is going to be like this. Okay, the hair. And we'll have to go back to the brush so that we can get into these little cracks. Oops. Should be underneath on that. Let's come out. So we want to have our draws behind so that when we go into these little areas, we're filling in that color, but we're going behind. Let's see. Do I want to keep that space? Yeah, sure, why not? All right, so we're going to have some white behind the eyes there. Okay, and then let's see. So red here. All right, so we want to put red in here for the shirt. Yes. It's another thing to be aware of is that stripes can be tricky business. Can be tricky business, or is tricky business. Stripes are a problem primarily because you can forget what's the stripe and where the you can forget the stripe organization, like what is on the top, where's the stripe at, where's the break in it, like in here, this is the white, this area here is where the stripe is. So I'm always kind of flipping back to find out like where is that stripe actually, where is it in actuality, so that I put it in the right place. All right, so now I'm going to color the block. So that's going to be, let's see here, exact side, and then this is the, there we go. So let's save. Got to hit that save button. Got to hit that save button. Okay. All right. Okay, let's see. On to the next one. These ones, I'm actually kind of surprised at how slow it is when you're inking. I don't really think of it as being slow, but I guess it really is, isn't it? It sure seems that way. And there's another thing too you have to kind of be aware of is like when you decide that there's certain lines that you want to have breaks on those lines so that it's not so harsh, then you have to be careful about how you handle that. Like with the eyes on my characters, I tried to not put a black line all the way around the eye. And the reason being is that I think it makes it look hard. but you still have to paint that area. So that means that what you end up doing is painting the eye, say the underneath part of the eye, the same color that the skin is. So when I clean it up, I'm cleaning it up with that color so that, I don't get a hard line under the eye. You'll see what I mean. But yeah, I'm really guessing where the line's going to go because there's a significant part of the drawing that doesn't have a rough line to show where it starts and stops. So I'm really just kind of guessing when I make that line. And I bring that up because I guess the thing I want to get synced home there is that you don't necessarily need to have that spelled out for you when you're doing your finished drawing for color. And that, you're not going to see it so easily when you're looking at the final scene. And the reason being is it's really going to be going by pretty quickly and you won't have anything to compare it to. What do I mean by that? You won't see the flaw. So what am I talking about specifically here? I'll show you. Okay, so you see like right underneath his eye here, that's going to be his skin color. So what I'm going to do is grab the skin color and I'm going to set this to be draws behind. Then I'm going to draw a line in color around the eye. That line will be, so you see how I drew that? That line is in the color of his skin so that when I put that skin color in there, then it'll blend and it won't be harsh. Okay, all right, so now I'm going to put let's see, the line on the box is purple like this. Go down here, we'll get our line, and then we want the line to work on top this time. This is, we use our line tool. So this line is on top. And he's setting. Yeah. Okay, that's gonna. Okay. I'm putting this one behind because it intersects with those fingers. Okay. And okay, now we'll go back to the wavy line. So where that connects with his face, I'll make sure that's connected properly. Okay. So now I go back and I'll just paint Miguel because I've got him all set up against the box. So we got the black hair. And you'll see now when I paint his skin, so you see how that works with the, it takes the harshness off of that line. There's no hard line you see around his eyes. So it keeps that whole area, it looks better, for lack of a better way to say it. It just looks better. Because I don't want Miguel to have a hard line around his eyes. I want it to be a soft area. Yeah, there we go. That looks pretty good.